Hi everyone, I'm Shelly and you're watching Countercultural. Today I wanted to share a video with you about caring for your home in tough seasons. And yeah, I've been going through one of those recently, so I thought that it would be good to just share what I do during these times because I'm right in the thick of it. Now, I did want to share with you that a while back, maybe 2 weeks ago, I put in the community page that I would be doing a video on submitting to your husband. And I would be doing that with Donita from Prairie Dust and Emmy from the Manor Manor. Well, believe it or not, we did record an entire, I think it was 51-minute video. And it turned out that the audio was awful. You probably couldn't hear the audio on at least 30% of the video, and I didn't want to post something like that. So we're trying to get together again to do another video. We were supposed to do it last week, and my life has been tough the past couple weeks, and then we were supposed to record it again tonight, but my dining room floor is having to get replaced because we had a leak in our bathroom. I'm sure you don't care, but we had a leak in our bathroom and it got into the dining room, buckled up the boards. And so we had to like rip all that stuff out and recarpet. And so anyway, everything is a mess. So I wasn't able to record with them there, but I just wanted to do a quick video at least to get up on the channel. But that video on submission is coming, just so you know. But, you know, taking care of your home is one of the things that we as wives are called to do. And it's very important that we do the things that glorify God. There are times, since we are human beings, that are tougher than others. It may be if you have a chronic illness, you might be going through a flare-up and might be finding things a bit more difficult than you normally do. And you know, a lot of times when you have a chronic illness, it's just hard all the time. So keep that in mind too. But you know, some other examples of tough times might be seasonal depression. It could be pregnancy if you were in first trimester and you're super tired, or last trimester and you're super big and cumbersome. It can be tough to get that cleaning done around the house. If you're postpartum, if you're homeschooling, this is something that I know firsthand because we've been homeschooling now. I'm like losing count. I'm pretty sure it's 16 or 17 years now. And I have learned more than ever how much different your house will look when you're homeschooling than if your children are in school. So that actually leads to the first tip that I have for you. I have 5. Now, some of you may have other tips that I don't share here. And if you do, I would love if you would like the video and then leave those comments, you know, to help other people who might be going through situations like this. But the first one is to give yourself grace and to realize that your home will look different in different seasons of your life. So I mentioned how different my home looks now that I'm homeschooling for all these years compared to when my children were in school. When my children were in school, I had 2 toddlers at home, and all the rest of my children, I had 4 or 5 at the time, they were in school. So I was able to get a lot of stuff done around the house. Yes, even with 2 toddlers, they were pretty well behaved. But my house was immaculate, you know, just had stuck to my schedule diligently for dusting on certain days, dusting on Mondays, and vacuuming everywhere in the nooks and crannies on Tuesdays, even though I vacuumed every single day. And, you know, so on and so forth with following that schedule. Once I pulled my children out of school, though, and started homeschooling, that dynamic completely changed. And what my clean house looks like now is very different from what my clean house looked like then. And that is okay, because when you are homeschooling, well, your children are home pretty much all the time. Obviously, I'm not saying that you never go anywhere, but, you know, compared to children being at school for, we'll say, 7 hours a day, and then you'll have maybe your husband is out at work all day and you might be the only one at home, or maybe you're at work all day. You're definitely going to have less things that you need to clean up. When you are homeschooling, you have people in your house 24/7 pretty much. Now, we have 11 people in our house because we live in a multi-generational home. It's my husband and me, and then 6 of our children, and then a 7th daughter. Well, I don't have 7 daughters. Yeah, I do have 7 daughters. Isn't that funny? I have 7 daughters and 4 sons. I'm like, oh, I do. Anyway, but another one of our daughters, so actually 7 of our children live with us, but one of them is married and her husband also lives here, and my granddaughter. So out of the 11 of us, there are 9 of us who are here all the time. That means that there are always people eating their meals here. There are always people, 9 of them, who are using the bathroom all day long while our husbands are at work. There are always toys on the floor. There's always crafts out. And so we always do chores twice a day, but since there are so many people here, and since we homeschool, and since we live in our house, someone who comes here an hour from now might think, oh, they haven't picked up yet today. Well, yes, we did. It's just that our home looks different because we have so many people and we're home all the time. So another example might be when you are cluster feeding a newborn baby, your home will look very different when you have high school age children or even middle school age children, because obviously you're going to have more time to get the things done that you need to do, and hopefully at that point your children are picking up after themselves. And another example, last example, is that when you are a mom of littles, your home is going to look very different than when you are a grandma of littles. Now, again, if you are someone like me who has a grandchild or grandchild living with them, we're soon to have 2 grandchildren because my daughter's expecting again. But your home, if your grandchildren do not live with you, is going to look very different than when you were the mom of littles. So you've got to understand that because you had an immaculately clean home at one point in your house, your standard might have to shift a little bit as your life does. And so the second tip that I have for you, because of this and because of the way that you are feeling, okay, now we're talking about tough seasons. When you are going through tough seasons, it is best to at least set some basic expectations of yourself. I know that it's very easy for us to get stuck in a rut and just to think, I don't have any energy at all, I can't do anything. But I'm just asking you just to consider setting at least, I'll say between 1 and 3 basic expectations of yourself, depending on your situation and how much you can get done. Now, I will say that don't take advantage of this and make this something that you stand by all the time. This is for the tough seasons in your life, because remember, as a wife, you are called to care for your home. So yeah, just don't go overboard on this. But what I can say is set 1 to 3 basic expectations of yourself. And even when you do that, if you get those, say, 3 things accomplished, you might actually feel better about yourself, especially if it's something like seasonal depression, because I do get that sometimes. And what I have found is that once you start doing things and get yourself out of that rut, you'll find that you are in the mood to even to want to do more, because you've accomplished it and you have seen what you have gotten done. So if you get those basic things done that you have set for yourself to do that day, sometimes you might be surprised and think, I'm really in the mood to do more. And if you are, absolutely take advantage of that. The third tip that I have for you is to ask your husband what is most important to him for him to get done. A lot of times, we as women, what we think is important in a clean home is not the same thing as what our husband does in a clean home. And I would also say to ask your husband, not frequently, but every once in a while, because sometimes their expectations may change, just as we also, change the way that we think things should be done. So some examples are, my husband, he used to want the living room to be just absolutely, he loved when the pillows were fluffed, and the vacuum, you could see the lines in the carpet. He loved to see the lines from the vacuum. And I actually used to be a little impish, and when he would right before he would get home from work, I would move the knickknacks just like a 1/4 of an inch, just to see that if he would notice. And he would come home from work and he would go right over to the knickknacks and he would put them back to where they were supposed to be. So after a while, he knew that I was doing that on purpose. But anyway, it was just funny. But so that was the most important thing to him. But that was when we did not have as many children as we do now. So those expectations have shifted. So now if I ask my husband, and you're going to think this is funny because to most people this has nothing to do with cleaning, but this is what my husband said when I asked him what is the most important thing that you would like to get done in the house. He said that when he comes home from work, he just doesn't want to see lights on in every room of the house. To him, that is the most important thing. So yeah, even though that doesn't have anything to do with house cleaning, if I am able to make sure that we are saving on that electricity, turning off lights so that he doesn't come home, to a hall light on, kitchen, dining room, living room, and then also a table lamp on, he's happy just with that. So, and our husbands will differ with one another. I have a friend who said that her husband can't stand if there are things on their kitchen counter. He loves to have the kitchen counter completely cleared off. She said he does not care at all if the bed is made, but that kitchen counter, he wants it completely clean. Another friend said that her husband, he's fine if there are dishes in the sink, but he does not want toys on the floor. So, this is important. If you are finding that you are not able to get done as much as you would like to, at least ask your husband first what it is that he would like to have done the most. And that way, when he comes home from work, he can at least see that you have done that one thing that he asked for. And then hopefully you have had the energy, or you feel well enough to get more of those things done. But I find that actually helps a lot. The fourth thing is pretty obvious. Assign chores to your children if they're old enough. I started assigning chores to my children at the age of 6. Now, of course, when they're younger, they like to help mom with different things around the house, but they would start getting little age-appropriate chores at 6. And then it just continues on for the rest of the time that they're living at home. So that we usually do chores twice a day, and we will do a deep clean usually every 6 weeks. And this isn't something that you should just do during your tough seasons either. This is important for your children. It teaches them responsibility. It teaches them important housekeeping skills. It teaches them the importance of working together. So many benefits that can come from this. But yeah, give your children chores, because take some of the burden off of your shoulders. Delegate some of those things to your children, because you all live in the same house and you should all pitch in and work together and get these done. Just as everyone is making the mess, everyone should be cleaning up that mess as well, not just mom. The fifth thing, and this is the last one, is reward yourself after you get those 1, 2, or 3 things done that you set for yourself. Give yourself a little reward afterwards, not before, but after. So some examples of that might be you're looking forward to really reading the next chapter in your book, or there's a show that you really wanted to watch, or some of you might just want to be able to scroll through Instagram. And I can tell you from experience that if you decide, what, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read a chapter before I start doing this, a lot of times you will end up not getting up, or at least not wanting to get up to do the things that you should be doing, because you just get in this mindset where you are doing what it is that you enjoy and you want to keep doing that one thing, especially if you are feeling down in the dumps or not feeling, so good physically that day. It makes a world of difference if you use it as a reward after you have done. And it's almost like, what we do with our children. We reward them very often if they will do things that will help us out, extra things. Now, my children, I don't even give my children allowance for doing their regular chores, but if they are doing things outside of their chores, extra things, then I will usually give them rewards. So for us housewives, obviously we know that we don't get paid in rewards like that, but it's okay if you're not feeling good, allow yourself, after you do those things, sit down and read that book that you've been wanting to, because we all need that downtime too. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. Again, if you have any other tips, I would love if you would share them, because we all have those times when we're just going through a really tough period. It could even be something like anxiety that is keeping you from being able to do things. So just get those basic things done. Ask your husband what it is that is the most important to him. Set expectations of yourself, and ask your children to pitch in. And you know what? If they know that you're not feeling well, they might be happy to help you even more. That's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below. And I hope you have a great day.